How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to part 3 of my Amazing Spider-Man collection. We've gone through 2 short boxes. We got 2 more to go. After that, we'll end it off by going over the slabs I have up on the wall. And I mentioned last time, I'll throw in a little bit of Spider-Man, not from the Amazing Spider-Man run, but if we're doing slabs anyway, we might as well just throw them in to really top it off. After I get through all of the Spider-Man, I have a mini little haul I did, and I've got some really awesome upgrades to some of my DC Silver Age books, as well as just some big boy new additions to the collection. A lot of what I've been doing is laying off of the claim sales, like I mentioned, so that I can kind of recoup, refocus. I've sold off a little bit of the collection, things that I've had and I've enjoyed, and put that money towards something a little bigger that fits in a little better. So once we get through all of these, we'll move into that. But for now, let's get into the next short box. All right, let's kick this off right with a beautiful Black Cat cover with issue 226. And same thing, I'm going to move through these kind of fast. I know people love Spider-Man. For me personally, the 200 to 300, I love it all, but those are some of my least favorite in terms of the entire 1 to 400 run I'm collecting. So here we have 227, 228, 229, and a lot of this must have been that era where newsstand was very prevalent, because almost every one I have, 230, in this era right here is newsstand. So like I said, this must have been when it was easier to get them than not. 231, 232, awesome hide cover right here. 233, little tarantula action. Oh, easy Ghost Rider, there we go. 234, Will-O-the-Wisp. 235. And again, I know this is cool for some, not as exciting for others, but the OCD in me, 236, does enjoy being able to flip through a whole run like this and have most of it be sequential back-to-back with no gaps. 237, awesome Stiltman cover. 239, awesome Hobgoblin cover. 240, and as we go through, I'm actually a huge fan of all the Hobgoblin covers they ended up doing. His run in that was pretty fun. 241. 242. And like I said, without even trying, I don't even know how many directs I have. These have all pretty much been newsstands so far. 243. Which again, just makes me think that this was where it was probably harder to find. Oh, here we go. There's a direct. 244. Cool Pumpkin Bomb cover right there. Love the way the orange and the green goes. One of my favorite covers from 2 to 300. We have 245. This awesome unmasking of Hobgoblin. I love this cover. The colors, everything about it. One of my favorites. 246. And there's another cover that pairs very nicely with that last Hobgoblin that I believe we get to in this short box. 247. 248. It looks like we're getting pretty lucky that the glare is not too bad with the angle I got right now. 249. Another really awesome Hobgoblin Kingpin cover. And this one I actually have marked down. I don't know if you can really see it on that tape right there, but this is a Mark Jeweler variant of this book, actually. So that's pretty cool. It's the only Mark Jeweler I have. 250. Just another amazing Hobgoblin cover. Like I said, I love his covers so much. And this is the other one I was talking about. 251. This is my... It's a tie between that first Goblin that we just went over where he's doing the unmasking. This one is another huge favorite of mine from the 2 to 300. I just love the colors, the layout, everything about this. This is the epitome of a cover of a comic right here. This is beautiful and gorgeous, and it doesn't even matter if I knew what Spider-Man was. I would pick that up every single time if I saw that on the rack. And of course, 252, first black suit in title. Really, really awesome book right there. Well, as you know, ties with Marvel team up, I think 141 it is. Then we have 253, first appearance of the Rose. 254. 255. 256, and I believe that is the first appearance of Puma. 257. 258, I believe the first appearance of the Bombastic Bagman, which made a very small cameo in Across the Spider-Verse. 259, and I will say Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, I was not a Miles Morales fan before that. Those movies have won me over. I want to get his first appearance now. I really, really love those movies, what they did with the character, the Spider-Man lore. Those are what are going to make fans of future generations, and that is really, really awesome to see, and those movies are amazing. But back to 260 with yet another awesome Hobgoblin cover. And let's keep that trend up with 261. Beautiful, almost has a painted style to it. And then probably my least favorite cover, maybe everybody's in the entire run. 262. I am just not a fan of what this has going on. I'm not saying you can't have picturesque covers, but I feel like they could have done much, much better than this. 263. Love that awesome Doc Ock as Spider-Man in that purple background. 264. 265, I believe the first appearance of Silver Sable. 266. Ooh, easy there. There we go. 267. 268. And again, I know time is of the essence, so we're going to crank through this box just enough so you can see every single cover, but without eating too much of your day. 269, Spider-Man vs. Firelord. 270, that's a pretty cool, I like that black covered one. 271, pretty cool orange background. Don't see a whole lot of orange covers. 272. I'm not sure if it's his first appearance, but here you have Slide. I believe it is, but don't quote me. Just going to kind of readjust the box here. There we go. All right. Oh, easy there. There we go. 273. Awesome Beyonder cover. 274. 275, really, really cool Black Suit Spidey versus Hobgoblin. Another awesome one of my favorites for this time. 276, just keeping with that awesome Green Goblin unmasked theme. But flipping through these now, it's amazing how many unmaskings you have just on the covers of of Hobgoblin. 277. And I got very, very lucky that I know this is not a scarce era, but these are in pretty high grade. 278, which for me personally is just impressive since I was picking these up when I wasn't really paying attention and I was just grabbing any ones I did not have. 279, pretty cool Jack-O-Lantern cover. Issue 280. There we have the Sinister Syndicate. All right, just kind of readjust the box again. There we go. 281. Really, really love the way they have the villain floating heads. I know a lot of people joke about the floating head covers. Sometimes when you do it right, I can be a fan. But 282, who could not be a fan of this awesome picture anniversary box cover? I love the way that green background makes his suit with the blue highlights pop that much more with all the characters. Really, really love this one. Even when I wasn't a fan of the picture frame covers that grew on me, I always liked that one. 283. 284, getting into that gang war now. All right, readjust the box again. This box packed just a little bit tighter, so 285, really, really awesome Punisher Bazooka cover. 286. 287, pretty cool. A little bit of Daredevil versus Spider-Man action. It's always a little extra cool when you see the hero versus the hero stuff. 288. There we go, that one didn't want to come out. 289, yet another unmasking of Hobgoblin. Like I said, this just seems like between issue 200 to 300, that man just could not keep his identity secret. 290. This one's pretty cool. 291. Again, I love that deep, dark red background with the scaffolding. It makes the robot, the Spider Slayer, and Spider-Man himself come off the page at you that much more, really take the focus. And a nice contrast to the black suit. And let's go the other route with a yellow background that does just the same. Not so much Spidey, but you have that Spider Slayer really popping off that page. Purple and yellow, good combo. All right, and now we have 293, classic Kraven Zek cover right here. This, as everybody knows, great storyline that takes place through here, spanning across several Spider-Man titles. These, even if you're not a Spider-Man fan, check out this story, Kraven's Last Hunt. Really, really awesome. I was going to say, so that was part 2, I believe. Here we have part 5, an equally awesome Spider-Man kind of hunting Kraven right now. Or is he? 295, another one of my least favorite covers. Just overall, not a whole lot going on. 296, cool little Doc Ock caught in the spider web. 297, a nice deep dark purple right there, really accents with the black suit. Less and more contrast and more complementary. 298, beautiful start of classic McFarlane right here. And I believe this is the first appearance of Chance, or that might have happened in a different title. I forget. 299. And even though when we get into slabs, you'll notice I do not have 300 yet. I'm trying to figure out what grade I want to try to get that in, because 98 is out of the question. I want to be in the 9s, but I haven't decided where yet. So now we have 301. Beautiful, beautiful cover on that one. Happy to have these ones raw so I can still flip through and enjoy them. 302. And this McFarlane era right now, these are the ones that are near and dear to my heart, specifically because when me and my little brother didn't have a whole lot of money, 303, we would take whatever we did have and we would walk down to the comic book shop, and pretty much anything that was $1 to $5, that was my budget range, with $5 being a big splurge for me. 304. And a lot of this McFarlane era is just what happened to be what was coming out. And these were the ones I would grab. So I got really, really lucky as a kid that 305. I got them when they were kind of newer. I know they're not old, but they're still in really, really good shape. And it was cool for me as a kid to be able to get a comic book for cheap and amazing condition. Because a lot of the ones I could afford other than these ones were the 50 cents or $1 that were really run down. But when you're a kid with $5, you're trying to stretch that out and get the most bang for your buck. So I could come home with one $5 comic, or I could get several 50-cent or $1 comics. So the McFarlanes were always ones that stuck out to me as a kid. I loved his style. They're just incredible. 306. I know as an adult, people looking at him, it's not for everybody. Some people love him, some hate him, some don't care. I'm a big fan of McFarlane's Spider-Man. 307. I say his style and how he does it specifically is one of the things that had me picking these up as a kid. 308. 309. And I could be wrong, but I believe this is the first appearance of Sticks and Stone, who we have on the cover in the bottom here. All right, readjust the box. We're getting near the end of this one. 310. And I say, now we're getting into some of the ones that are my favorite. So, 311, one of my favorite newer Mysterio covers. This thing is beautiful, and I love, you'll see a pattern with a couple. This one in the Lizard, where it takes up the entire page, the detail he puts into it, the reflection. I love this book with a passion. Another classic, Green Goblin versus Hobgoblin. I just love the way he drew these two, super detailed. A kind of over-exaggerated cartooniness, but in a detailed way. Really cool battle cover. This is just one of my favorite covers of the entire run, even with the Silver Age. This Lizard cover, the angle, the perspective, the dark background with that blue-purple, the bright green of Lizard, red of Spider-Man, the tearing of his suit and mask and the jaws. This is one of my all-time favorite covers of the entire run. Yeah, there's a lot of Silver Age classics, there's some important keys, but for me personally, and for that little kid in me, this book is incredible, and I would never give this up. I love this one. That book is awesome. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I had action figures that kind of mimicked what was going on with that. Issue 314. This was another one of the very first McFarlane ones I was ever able to pick up as a kid. All right, just kind of readjust the box again. 315, a really, really awesome Hydro Man cover. First technical cover appearance of Venom / partial appearance of Venom with his floating head up there. And then we have issue 316. And I got extremely lucky because I've mentioned before, I am not a super, super good grader. I can give you an idea of if something is fine, fine plus, very fine, near mint. But in terms of really getting down to the points, I'm terrible. But this book, I have scoured everything. These staples are one of the tightest I've ever seen. I don't see a single spine tick. The only thing that's a maybe is the bottom right corner is slightly rounded. Not terribly, but slightly. I do believe this could be a 9.6, maybe 9.8 candidate. And this is a book I picked up probably for $5-10. Again, when me and my little brother were going to the shop every day with what little money we had. And even as a kid, I wasn't reading the stories yet. I was waiting until I got a few of them. But I picked up every single cover I found that had Venom or Carnage on it. As a little kid, you cannot look at Venom and Carnage and not think that's some of the coolest stuff you ever saw, some of the coolest 90s stuff you ever saw. And I was born in 93, so it was right in that cusp of everything I grew up loving. And because of that, I got extremely lucky that I have this extremely high-grade copy of 316 that I got for $5 or $10 as a kid, flipping through boxes before it really, really blew up and became anything. So another one that is near and dear to my heart. I love the McFarlane. I love his Venom. I love Carnage that came later. And I am so happy that little kid in me walked in that day and grabbed every single Venom book he could find and both afford. Because for me at that time, spending $5-10 on one book, that was a lot of money for me at that time. So that is one of my personal gems in my collection. Then we go right in issue 317. That's just an awesome Spidey symbiote cover in general. Issue 318. And I am also a huge, huge fan of the way McFarlane draws the Scorpion. I think he draws him possibly better than anybody. he just looks so dynamic in how he uses that musculature and any way that he uses the tail in battle. I also grabbed as many covers with his Scorpion as I could, just because I was a huge fan of the art. 319, and a fun fact, I originally was going to school for art and graphic design, so I had an extra appreciation for it. It didn't pan out. I didn't think I could sit down every day for a living once it became more computerized, but either way, I still love art, so for McFarlane especially, I appreciate his art probably more than his writing. Issue 320. 321. 322. 323. And you'll notice we're already up in almost the mid-threes. 324. Awesome Spider-Man Sabretooth cover. That's because while I'm going 1 through 400, I have a few that are over that, so that'll fill out the final long box. Or short box, rather. 325. Awesome Red Skull cover. 326. 327, classic Spidey versus Magneto. I was going to say, and I still got a decent amount of newsstands really going up here, so. 328, extremely high-grade classic Spidey versus Hulk. 329, awesome Tri-Sentinel cover right here. I'm not sure if this is the one or not, but I know one of these books has been getting hot for various reasons. Issue 330. 331. Only got a few more in this box, folks. And they don't want to come out. There we go. 332. Another one of the very first books I was able to grab, because again, it was right in that era where I was snagging any Venom books I could. And this is an extremely awesome McFarlane and Larson. The way they drew Venom, I loved it as a kid. So this is another one that I purely grabbed it because he was on the cover. As well as 333. Again, this just takes me right back to that very first comic shop that we used to walk into. So another reason why those books are not worth a whole lot, but they mean the world to me, and I will never get rid of those copies. If I upgrade, I keep the upgraded one, but I will never get rid of these ones. 334, just because these are my books. I got them as a comic shop as a kid, and they hold a special place in my heart. 335. Let's get a little bit of glare off. There we go. 336. I say that one's a pretty cool with a kind of weird light pinkish background. Keeping up with the Larson theme. 337, another favorite of mine. I just love that you have all of the rogues right there on the cover. Kind of the Sinister Six reassembled. And the last one for this box, folks, is issue 338, the Battle Royale. Another awesome, cool villain cover. So that is it for short box number 3. All right, so there we have it. 3 boxes down, 1 to go. Then we finish off with the slabs. So like I said, overall, nothing too crazy key-wise in that box. But that box to me, like I said, has a special place in my heart. That box right there, as long with part of the next one you're going to see, probably mean more to me than even the Silver Age books. Those are ones I picked up as a kid when I barely had any money. I walked in with $5. I felt like a king. And then as a kid, do I get $5 comics? Do I splurge and get that one big one? Do I save up for that $10 book? And I'm just happy that little kid me had the right taste, that he snagged any and all Venoms he could, because it ended up paying off. So those books will always be near and dear to my heart. My collections might rotate here or there. Spider-Man, I don't ever see getting rid of. Even if I had to narrow it down, which I don't think I would never get rid of those books. They're my books, and You can kind of go with Silver Age. Those books will always be amazing. They will always be classic. The Ditko, the Romita art, the classic first appearances. But in terms of what collecting means and the books you want to collect and that matter to you personally, that McFarlane Larson era of Amazing Spider-Man shaped a lot of who I am now and the things that I grew up enjoying. So thank you guys for checking out this video. I know they're not as exciting as we flip through, but I have a very small channel, don't get a lot of requests. I love this collection, and I did get a few requests, so you don't turn down the few requests you get. We only got one more box to get through, and then you're going to see some pretty fun slabs. And then we're going to get back to some of the hauls with some big upgrades to the collection. So thank you guys for checking in to part 3 of my Amazing Spider-Man collection. Until next time.